Welcome back to tacosandgeeks.com. Justin here. We're back with more reviews. Sean, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
And we got some TV reviews for you. Today we're going to be reviewing episode 1 of Swarm, which will be available on Prime Video. Series premiere is March 17th. As always, I give you a brief synopsis. So here we go. It's a very quick synopsis, too, not much. And we'll explain why they're keeping the synopsis very, very vague. A young woman's obsession with a pop star takes a dark turn. That's the synopsis, folks. And this show stars Dominique Fishback as Dre. You have Chloe Bailey as Marissa. And for episode 1, we also have Damson Idris as Khalid. And man, episode 1, I was not expecting such a dark, dark show. Just based off the trailers, I was not expecting such a dark show that we got, Sean.
Yeah, like first I want to shout out, I want to say Donald Glover has definitely done it again.
Yeah,
With I mean, for me, like anybody who's ever watched Atlanta knows that every episode this man brings is pretty much like he gives you so much to unpack after every episode. You can literally do a podcast every episode and every week. And if you had to do like a summary of whatever season he was on, it'd probably be a 2-3 hour podcast
yeah,
just going through the different things. And this show is gonna be no different. To be
yeah.
honest with you, it's after the first episode, there's so much to unpack after it. I just had to sit down and just say, like, even this review, I don't know if we're gonna do it justice. Just to
No,
say, I just have to tell you, if anything, I'm gonna tell you about this episode is just go watch this series. Just go after the first episode. If you're not hooked after the first episode, I don't
yeah,
know what to tell you. I was hooked after the first 15 minutes, like not actually
yeah.
as 10 minutes. And if you're not hooked after the first episode, I don't know. Like you just really got to sit down and watch this. This show is deep and touches on so many different things that this culture goes through today.
Yeah.
Not talking about years ago, but just everything the younger generation is going through and this culture goes through just today.
Yeah.
And shout out to Donald Glover for like bringing this. He did his thing with this one. That's all he did his thing.
Yeah, we're keeping this very vague because obviously we did get a screener for this, so we have to keep it very, very vague. And you do want to keep it vague because we want you to go in obviously with zero information because I thought the show's gonna be one thing and it turned out to be something that I did not even expect. And it's just like we have this character Dre, and as the synopsis says, we she is obsessed with this pop star named I believe it's Nija, and it is such an allegory for a certain one of the biggest stars in the world for like the past 10 years and her certain fan base. It's such an allegory for a certain hive. I'll put it that way to just not to spoil it what this allegory is. For a certain hive, this swarm and the obsession with this particular star and how deep and how of a deep dive celebrity obsession goes. But that's just the surface of what the synopsis is. This show is actually something else, which I can't tell you about, but it's something else. And when the real commentary and real thesis of what the show comes into play, you're gonna go, "What the hell?" And and this I can't say. And the show is wild as
Yeah. And I'm gonna say this. This show has so many WTF moments
oh my god,
throughout the show. You're gonna I'm gonna put this I'm gonna say this, like when you start really watching the show, it's gonna be one of those water cooler shows where you're gonna talk
mhm,
to people like, yeah, I can't believe this happened, or damn, like, yo, did I just see what I just saw? You're literally one thing I'm so happy about it being on Amazon Prime is that you will have the ability to rewind and
mhm,
see, because like a show like this came on FX or whatever, you'd have to wait to see it on Hulu and to really be able to go back and catch certain things. Because I'm going to tell you, a lot of stuff that I watched the very first episode, I had to go back or turn to you, Justin, like, yo, did I miss something? Oh yeah, this is
Mhm.
like you're gonna rewind back to find out things you missed or something that was just so subtle you don't pay attention to it. And I'm pretty sure we're gonna watch this episode again because I'm pretty
Right.
sure there are subtle things that happen that led up to other things that you're just gonna be like, you missed it the first time.
And
And
this one also go ahead.
yeah,
Sorry about
and
that.
that's basically. I'm sorry if this seems like this is a review episode where most people when they tell reviews, they want to give you as much information as possible. But with this one, I feel like we don't need to give you anything other than just to say, please go watch this.
Yeah.
This show is definitely just please go watch this.
It's being vague on purpose
Yeah,
because, like I said, you want to go into this blind,
yeah,
and there's so many metaphors in here. There's so many alliterations. There's so many things that's really packed into this. I mean, there's something here for everybody. I will say this though, there is some funny moments in this.
yeah.
There's some really, really effed up stuff. This is a very hard TVMA. Like everything is shown. And I mean everything is shown. So be prepared for that.
And I think if you go into this, whatever expectations you think for watching the previews and the commercials and everything for this, it's like whatever it is, just toss it out the window and just go in there and just sit down. Just
Yeah.
sit down and just watch.
Yeah. So
Because
I
this is definitely one of those just sit down and watch this.
yes, I agree. So what would you give episode 1?
Episode 1, which is something I would rarely give. I'm gonna give this first episode like 5 stars. Like
Yeah.
because the fact that I want to go back and watch this episode again just to kind of like pay closer attention to the things that I might have missed
Mm,
is enough for me to say like this is actually. I know people are gonna have different opinions. Somebody's probably
yeah.
gonna watch this and be like, like I don't get this, I get that. I will say this. If you were a fan of Atlanta, you're gonna love this series. And even if you weren't a fan of Atlanta, you're gonna still like this series or love it because it's just that good. But I will say this for anybody else, this is a very triggering series. So be very
Oh,
prepared for it. Yeah.
oh, you're gonna get triggered from both sides. There's gonna be people. I guarantee there's gonna be people out there going, "Oh my god, this is woke. Oh my god, this is attack on masculinity." You're gonna get those type of crowds, but then you're gonna get the other people like, "Oh my god, this is this is against women," and there's gonna be it's gonna be so much noise that people are not seeing what the real message is behind the show. I will have to say before we I'll get out of here. I just gotta say a little bit about some of the way this film is. I mean, excuse me, the show is shot. It reminds me of some of those Japanese, old school Japanese thrillers from like the early '90s. Like I would say, if I could compare just the way it's shot, I'm not saying it's like Audition, just the way it's shot in certain scenes, it reminded me of the Japanese horror Audition, and just the
Yeah.
way the aesthetics is, the grain effects in there. And if you watch it, you'll see what I mean. It has some of that pacing of that of the Japanese storytelling. So definitely check this out. I'm also gonna give this 5 stars. I was surprisingly, I didn't think it was gonna be this good. But definitely check this one out. And this is Justin and Sean signing off from otakusandgeeks.com. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. That's very important. And what did you think of episode 1 of Swarm? Comment below, let us know. We'll discuss it, and we'll catch you on the review of episode 2. Later days.